strange, wasn't it? We don't want to say anything too negative, but yeah, the game just completely crashed, and the broadcast wasn't having any of it. Let me tell you that. But we are back in. Sort of cut short our potential real life discussion that we were going to be able to have, which is disappointing, of course. But getting ready to go. Almost everyone has managed to jump back in to this lobby, which is lovely to see. And yeah, take number 2. I guess it splits things up nicely. Very convenient game crash from qualifying to the race. But yeah, fingers crossed that everything runs smoothly. Touch wood, all of those superstitions that we can talk about. But yeah, as everybody come back in. You can get back in, everyone. We can stop the alarm bells ringing because everything hopefully is resolved. So as we wait, we can real life F1 season, of course, finished. Is it Monday? It is Monday. Days are very difficult to keep up with. Finished yesterday. McLaren taking the Constructors' Championship was looking a bit concerning at one point, wasn't it? After Max Verstappen got his bulldozer out into turn number 1, running into the side of Oscar Piastri. Oscar then doing the same to Franco Colapinto about 2 laps later. So if that's just desserts for anybody, then I don't know what is. But yeah, Verstappen ended up coming home 6th. To be honest, the Red Bull didn't look particularly good in race trim, did it? Although he did have that 10-second penalty to serve. You would have expected him maybe to catch the 2 Mercedes, but alas, that was not the case. Ferrari looked strong. Sainz just wasn't able to quite keep tabs on Lando Norris's pace out front, who, for once, and I don't think we say this very often, was absolutely flawless. Which, if he can try and do that a little bit more in 2025, then he might be able to mount a more serious title challenge against whether it's Max Verstappen or whether it's Charles Leclerc or Lewis Hamilton driving for the Scuderia. Oscar Piastri, you think, might be in there as well. We don't know what Mercedes are doing. We still don't know who Red Bull's second driver is, although judging how the last, how many years we're going to go back to? 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. The last 6 years, if you're in that second car, you've got absolutely no chance of pretending that you can fight for a world championship past race number 5. So whether it's Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Valtteri Bottas, as has been hilariously linked. I mean, it would be funny. It wouldn't be the worst option in the world, but I highly doubt that Christian Horner and Helmut Marko would go for the 37-year-old porridge man now. I'm not quite sure what Valtteri Bottas' age is. Let's have a look at it now, though. And we're going to get a live update. I thought he was 37 or 38. Valtteri Bottas is actually 35, so that's not too far away. He had a bit of a stinker, didn't he, in what could be his last race in F1. Shame to see for the adopted Australian. Contact with Perez. Hello again, Avatar. Lovely to see you again. Wasn't ideal, was it? What went on? I don't know how much of it anybody saw. Whether it was just a black screen of doom or we had some kind of, I don't know, face palming moment coming up. That would have been enjoyable. At least we could have had a bit of comic relief when that went on. We're still waiting for somebody to join the lobby as well. Oh, there we go. As if by magic, Sergio jumps in. And we are up to 20. Sergio starting from low down the field. P15 or 16. That's not great because I can't quite remember. It's along those lines, though. He'll be looking to make quite the comeback. And he needs to make quite the comeback. With his teammate starting on pole. And another driver that could potentially challenge for the championship, third place, Lifeboat, also on the front row. Didn't score any points in the first 3 races, although only contested one of them with a 12th place finish in Spa. Winning in Canada from pole position. Winning in Qatar. And then, like I said earlier, a bit of a bump back down to earth in Monaco with a 6th place finish. And getting involved in a few bumps and scrapes. Yasser Saki has actually been the most consistent driver, you could say, taking part in 5 races, finished All 5 of them in the points, 3 podiums in there, a couple of third places and a second in Canada. The other 2 point scoring finishes 9th places. Let's have a little bit of a chat about the constructors. Obviously Haas are leading the way by 54 points. They've nearly got double the amount that everybody else has got. Haas with 109. Big drop down to Alpine with 55. Yasisaki has been doing a decent amount of the heavy lifting, although Lawrence there with 19 points to go with Yasisaki's 36. Then it's Aston Martin in 3rd place on 47 points. Both drivers nestled just inside the top 10, Jan and TRT Zane. Mercedes and then Sauber rounding out the top 5. VCarb, followed by McLaren, Ferrari, Williams and Red Bull. Red Bull team that have only scored 4 points in 6 races so far. I see some beautiful green ticks which are absolutely delightful. And hopefully we're getting back underway very shortly. And we are. Countdown, yes! Can't sing the song. Ataku Logan, my co-commentator usually, knows a lot about Countdown, having appeared on the programme a couple of weeks ago. Picked up a couple of wins in there as well. Counting down, he set as his little message that you can have on your profile on Discord, which is very nice. The timer has counted down. The counter has timed down was what I was going to say, but that's words coming in the wrong order. And we are getting ready to go with Epic Vale on pole and Lifebout lining up alongside. Should mention not Finlay. We should talk about Fraser as well, who didn't start the season particularly well, retired in round number 1, 8th place in round number 2 in the United States at COTA, and then 11th at Spa. But since then, a 4th in Canada, a 5th in Qatar, and a 2nd in Monaco, coming into some very nice form. We've got the clouds, we've got the overcast greyness in the sky, but we haven't got that little bit of moisture falling out of those clouds. So maybe it's coming later in the race. Who knows? Only the game knows. And that's the wonderful thing about the unpredictability of our sport and the unpredictability of the weather as well, because it can certainly catch you out. If you've been living in the UK, the weather probably will have caught you out with Storm Dara terrorising the nation. Gusts of many miles an hour of wind, keeping everybody awake at night and blowing over news reporters. This doesn't quite look as stormy as it does currently in the United Kingdom. Everybody, of course, got to reapply their setups, and they've also got all of their soft compound tyres back as well. So if we do see a plethora of safety cars, I would not be surprised if we see those red stripe tyres. We are getting ready to go. Red stripe tyres, red lights in front of the drivers. We have 5 of them. Haas versus RB on the front row, and it is lights out, and away we go with Epic Vale leading. Lifebout, big wobble from a Williams. I think that was of Nordic Ninja, having a huge snap. Esque of Kevin Magnussen from Australia 10 years ago in 2014, battling down the hill we go. It's still Epic Vale leading. Lockups are plenty from everybody in the field. Lifebout almost falling off the circuit, and he has to go from attack to defence very quickly, but it's Fraser under pressure now, because look at the start that Leonardo has got as we come through 8th Street, keeping that Ferrari on the inside, just about holding on to 4th place, although it's now Manlike on the offensive. Epic Vale has cleared off out in front, and it is this beautiful scrap for 2nd place behind. Bit of a wobble under braking for Lifebout. Fraser unable to capitalise. Then it's Leonardo ahead of Manlike in the top 5. Battles going on for 6th and 7th between ASRT Christian, who is losing out temporarily maybe to Nordic Ninja, although good exit coming out of Luffield as we go through Brooklands, the Ferrari, with a potential opportunity to hold on to 6th as we come up towards Cops Corner, but backing out of it. Perhaps sensibly, if we remember what happened in 2021. Cars all over the place though. Kevin's didn't trouble the apex. SRT Christian tried to send it up the inside of Nordic Ninja, but was unsuccessful in his attempts to do so. Good luck to these guys, says George. I'm presuming that is George Amsel, who we've been seeing a lot so far this season. Has shown some very impressive pace, so thank you for that, George. Wishing all of your fellow drivers luck. Look at the train as we come up towards Stowe Corner now. It's Epic Vale leading from Lifeboat. Has closed the gap though. Fraser continuing to round out our top 3, and then it's Leonardo and Manlike in 5th. Look at the battle going on just outside the points. It's Frank Gisordi versus Diogo Silva. Very aggressive from the pair. And then we've got a car back. We've got a Mercedes round his soapbox facing the wrong way. We have not got a safety car. I thought we might have done. It's just some yellow flags in the zone. And look at this gaggle of cars just outside the top 10. Now led by Chris Rebel ahead of the Williams of Evan Nye. I think a couple other cars getting caught up in that. Kevin's one of them. McKinley potentially another. As the 2 Aston Martins go to war down into turn number 3. But look at the Sauber up the inside, potentially 3 wide. That is going to get very, very narrow, especially with the sausage curb on the inside, continuing to battle away over 16th and 17th place. Neither driver willing to give an inch, but as we go through entry, it is just about Zane who is going to hold on. Yase Saki trying to make mincemeat of Frank Gizzorni, who was under pressure from Diogo Silva a few minutes ago, now losing out to the Alpine as well. And down into Brooklands we go. And it is Yase Saki still on the inside of Luffield. More contact, and Sergioli barging his way through. Has he got any damage? I don't think so. Neither does the Red Bull car. Sergioli from 15th on the grid up into 13th, and Finlay making his way through as well. Let's get the tyres up for everybody on the opening lap. And it is just one driver that is not following what everybody else is doing. It's Diogo Silva on the softs, everybody else on those yellow stripe mediums. So expect to see that Papaya McLaren absolutely flying in the first couple of laps. DRS enabled, of course, on lap number 2. Is it an opportunity for Lifeout to try and get the lead? Changing down on the straight, potentially indicating that he doesn't want the lead from Epic Vale, almost running into the back of the Haas, but holds position as Diogo Silva gets ahead of Coolman over braking down into Stowe Corner, and that is 8th place now for the McLaren car. Started a little bit further down, potentially 14th, yeah, 14th, so 6 places made up in the opening couple of laps. Very good start from Diogo Silva. He's now going to try and challenge ASRT Christian in front. Fastest lap to boot as well for the McLaren car. Chris Rebel still rounding out our top 10 ahead of Evan Nye. Yase Saki losing a little bit of time, and then it is the championship leader who needs to try and pick up a couple of points, especially with his teammate Epic Vale leading the way. Look at Evan Nye, was pushing Chris Rebel down into Village, and through the loop we go. Avoiding that curb on the inside can potentially spit you off into the grass and or gravel on the left or right hand side. I think we might be getting close to a pass for the lead. Lifeout once again tucking in behind the pole sitter of Epic Vale, taking the sausage curbs is Fraser, potentially looking for an opportunity to pounce on one of these two if there's a bit of a mistake, but a wobble for Fraser midway through Luffield could leave him vulnerable to Leonardo as we come through Woodcote and up towards Copse Corner. My back is very, very sore. Not ideal at all, but we will soldier on in the spirit of incredible F1 racing action. Leonardo a little bit wide going through Copse Corner. Not an opportunity for Manlight, though, to try and get involved because the Papaya McLaren was a little bit too far back. Continuing on. Haven't quite had a sip of water yet. Diogo Silva, how long are those soft compound tyres going to last? We can see the sun just making an appearance, poking through the clouds. Here we go past for the race lead. It's Lifebat around the outside of Epic Vale, and the lead does change hands at the end of lap number 3 through Stowe Corner. Around the outside goes the RB. Lifebat looking to try and make it 3 wins in the last 4 races, and started off on the right foot. Nordic Ninja looked a little bit wide there through the Vale chicane, but ASRT Christian unable to capitalise just yet. But through Club Corner again, Nordic Ninja looking slightly slower than ASRT Christian, but the Williams holding firm and holding solid in 6th place, looking to score their first points of season 38. Lockups are plenty again down into Village. Thankfully they fixed that. And a lunge up the inside from ASRT Christian. It was a late move, respectful from Nordic Ninja, just about left the space and just about holds on to 6th position. That was beautiful racing from the pair of them. ASRT Christian potentially with a second bite of the cherry, but Nordic Ninja does also have the DRS. It's another jink over to the left hand side. ASRT Christian desperate to try and dispose of this Williams car. Look at the gaggle of cars in front there, really all of them checking up as we go through Luffield Corner. Was that potentially from Lifeback trying to slow everybody down? Not quite sure. We didn't get the perfect angle to see what was going on, but we retain the status quo and we do remain in formation. Everybody's still in the DRS train until you get down to Soapbox, who is facing the wrong way coming out of Club Corner on lap number 1, and TRT Zane, who must have got involved in that little skirmish as well. We saw Zane battling away very hard with his teammate Jan on the second lap, but has fallen away in the subsequent lap and a half. Well, 0.2 of a second, the gap out in front. Epic Vale wants the lead back from Lifebout. Could they be working together, just trading places in these opening stages? Lifebout dropping back down into 2nd place, though Epic Vale not really troubling the curb or the apex of Stowe Corner, maybe just being a little bit respectful, trying to leave space for Lifebout if we thought the RB was still fully perched alongside the Haas in the braking zone, and by the time they got to the apex of Stowe Corner. Still everyone behind. Rolling nicely, it's ASRT Christian though, who's continuing to apply the blowtorch to Nordic Ninja, but not with great effect so far. We've seen a couple of darts left and right, does it again, trying to maybe put Nordic Ninja off. This is great to watch. Maybe a little bit of contact just in front of them. Once again, it's ASRT Christian looking for that move down to the loop, but gets his braking all unlocking the rears. Diogo Silva wasn't close enough to try and mount an assault on the Ferrari. Can he use what is left of those soft compound tyres? How long are they going to last for? We don't know how rubbish they are. On some circuits, those softs are absolutely diabolically bad. The other McLaren going wide of Manlight, but it's Leonardo who's out of position, and that could be all the invitation that Manlight needs to say thank you very much and move up into 4th position. Look at that beautiful helicopter shot that we get as we go through Woodcote, literally side by side between the two most successful teams in the history of Formula 1, but it's Leonardo with the straight line speed that holds on to 4th place ahead of the McLaren and Manlight, with the Williams of Nordic Ninja a further half a second off the back of them. This battle right at the sharp, but very close. Manlight still thinking about an opportunity, trying to stick his nose up the inside through Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell, but to no avail, and the DRS flaps will open once again here on lap number 5, and I think for the 3rd lap in a row we are going to see Lifeboat and Epic Vale swap places. The lead changes hands. Is Epic Vale down to 2nd place. Leonardo still trying to battle away very hard to hold on to a very racy looking Manlight in the McLaren, looking maybe over to the inside but thinking better of it. We continue on. Nordic Ninja actually a lot closer to the McLaren than he has been on the previous couple of laps, and Manlight a little bit of a wobble coming out of the Vale chicane, putting him off going through Club Corner as well. Powering down into turn number 1 we go, and pressure on these drivers right at the sharp end. Epic Vale a little bit wide. We haven't seen too much from Fraser so far. It's been very content in that Kicks Albert to just hold on to 3rd position ahead of Leonardo, but behind the dueling Lifebout and Epic Vale. I'm still fascinated to see when these soft tyres will start to really drop off, and we'll see Diogo Silva bite the bullet. Again, interesting line taken by Manlight, almost leaves him vulnerable to Nordic Ninja, but at the same time nearly gives him an opportunity to try and take 4th place away from Leonardo in that Ferrari car. The Scarlet car still staring right underneath the rear wing of that lime green Sauber of Fraser. Same engine in the back of the cars, of course. Zane rejoining. So maybe Zane disconnected early on, which I missed unfortunately enough, but has managed to jump back into the session. Unfortunately is 7 seconds off the back of Soapbox, who in turn is 5 seconds off the back of this pack. And this DRS train, like I said, goes all the way from 1st down into 18th. Let's get the track map going for everybody as well. You can see how close it is. Once again, 4th lap in a row. Trading blows between the two leaders. A little bit of a sparring match going on, you could say, as Epic Vale reclaims that pole position, or the pole sitter now back on top of the leaderboard. Fraser still happy. Hashtag unleashed while we're waiting for him to be unleashed in this race. Yellow flag, I think that is Zane who has dropped it. Yes, into the gravel. Sergio Perez star from 2021 coming out of Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell, and those just going to add more woe to the Aston Martin drivers race, unfortunately. Haven't seen too many actual overtakes apart from the leading duo in the past couple of laps. Epic Vale very wide there through Village, potentially an opportunity for Lifeboat, although the RB wasn't close enough and actually missed the apex by a decent distance themselves on the start of lap number 7. As I complain that we're not getting overtaking, here we go as Jan battling away with Finlay for 14th and 15th place. 2 Mercedes engine cars, one of them the Works team, one of them the Aston Martin team, barreling down towards Brooklands we go. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? Who's going to be willing to hang it around the outside or the inside? And it is Finlay who eventually gives that one up. Jan up into 14th place after starting from what I believe was 16th. No, started last, so very good so far from Jan. Sergioli's progress has been stalled so far, still only in unlucky position number 13, stuck behind the Alpine of Yasser Saku, though you could say that everybody is stuck in this DRS train that we've got going on. Leonardo very close to the back of Fraser, potentially thinking about making a move and upsetting the apple cart that's going on between our leading trio right now. As we come on to the hangar straight, Lifeboat is going to make this move. Kevin's with a penalty, that's early. I think Fraser's going to try and follow through, maybe around the outside. We can't quite get that Sauber far enough alongside to, well, really ask for the room for Epic Vale to be given. Diogo Silva dueling away with Coolman. First it was through Stowe Corner, now a wobble from the pair of them down into the Vale chicane, and through Club Corner we go. Are those soft tyres starting to scream for mercy? I think they could be. 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits as Frank Giorni has decided they have had enough and retires from the session. Diogo Silva did lose 8th place to the RB of Coolman, and now it's a Red Bull, not RB car of Chris Rebel all over the back of that papaya car, almost running into the rear, does run into the rear a couple of times of Diogo Silva as Coolman has a wobble in front. Now look at that up the inside, opportunistic as ever is Evan Nye trying to get back into the box. Bit of a bump and run, you could say, between the Williams and the Red Bull car, and now they will drag race it down the Wellington straight and up towards Brooklands. But tucking into the slipstream goes Evan Nye and drops in behind the Red Bull once more. All action stuff, isn't it? If you know how to save your time, you can go 10 or 11 laps. I think you'll be in the pits on lap 8. Well, we're on lap 8 now, Avatar. So this is the time where we'll see what Diogo Silva decides to do with 18.5 laps remaining in this one. Sergio finally manages to get past Yasser Saki. Good run coming out of Luffield and up through Woodcote, managing to complete the move through Copse Corner, getting ever closer to the points-paying positions. is the opportunity. Look, Diogo Silva definitely struggling on those soft compound tyres now. Starting to overheat potentially in that middle sector with Maggots, Beckett and Chappell. This is going to be easy work for the Red Bull of Chris Rebel. Through we go. Doesn't even need the braking zone of Stowe Corner, and Diogo Silva is relegated down into 10th place on the cusp of the points. Does the Papaya McLaren pull into the pits? No, they do not, as Jan once again on the move, looking very racy in the green machine of the Aston Martin, but staying behind Yasisaki for now. Manlike, I think, has made a bit of a blunder coming through that Vale chicane because he's dropped behind Nordic Ninja, who's having a very good outing in that lead Williams car. And now the McLaren will have to deal with a different Ferrari. A few laps ago he was trying to pass the Ferrari of Leonardo. He's now going to have to try and defend from the Ferrari of ASRT Christian, although potentially fancying his chances of getting that 5th place back from Nordic Ninja, who's all over the place up the inside. We've seen this a couple of times from ASRT Christian and other drivers select, but just a wobble on the exit because the Ferrari can't get ahead of the McLaren car. Sergioli on the move and in the grooves. He gets past Evan Knight and is now just outside of the points paying positions in 11th place. Coolman in hot pursuit of the dueling man like an ASRT Christian, but not close enough to try and challenge either of them. Look at this, looking for any way round is ASRT Christian to try and get past this McLaren. Can't quite do it so far. Continuing, powering up towards Copse Corner. Still no drink so far, and coming up towards the halfway point. Oh, ASRT Christian, massive wobble going off the circuit for good measure as well. Maybe just taking too much of that inside curb as the medium tyres start to struggle, probably hitting around 25%. Maybe at this stage of the race they will be past their best, not at their optimal operating condition, and that was a bit of a Code Brown moment for ASRT Christian there. Maybe a new set of underpants needed by the time he comes into the pits in what will probably be 5 or 6 laps time. Epic Vale very close to the back of Lifebout. In turn, Fraser very close to the back of Epic Vale, and then a little bit of a gap back to Leonardo in 4th place. 4/10, funnily enough, from 3rd to 4th for the Ferrari car. Nordic Ninja equidistant back actually through to Chris Rebel in 10th. Diogo Silva continuing to soldier on those soft compound tyres that are definitely going to be struggling. Reaching lap 10 is pretty impressive, but as Avatar said, you can take these 10 or 11 laps if you manage the tyres. But looking at what Diogo Silva's been doing, doesn't particularly look like he's managing them too much. Sergioli is through. Evan Nye almost helping himself to that little mistake that Diogo Silva said. Almost rolled out the red carpet for a couple of his competitors there. Thankfully for the McLaren, only losing 1 place, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him diving into the pits at the end of this lap. Evan Knight trying to hang it around the outside of Brooklands corner, but Diogo Silva is wise to it and manages to hold firm and hold on to 11th place. Maybe a bit of a tap in the rear there. Yasisaki to Evan Nye. The Williams definitely had a little bit of a wobble. Here's the championship leader who has been slowly, steadily, but efficiently making his way through the field. Started down in 15th, now up into 10th and in the points paying positions, and Cruci is still technically in the lead battle because this DRS train goes from first now all the way down to 15th as Finlay has dropped out of it in 16th. Not a good race for the two Mercedes cars. Finlay 16th, Soapbox who was backwards coming out of the final corner on the opening lap in 18th, and now I think Sergioli is deciding this is the time to go. He's making overtakes every single lap, and this time it is Chris Rebel in the Red Bull. The other Haas was on the move because the lead goes back to Epic Vale, the pole sitter, pushing Lifebout into 2nd place. Fraser still very content just to sit there and watch. Very handy spectator camera for us. There we go. We can see the trading of places between Epic Vale and Lifebout. Still seeing no rain from the skies either. Oh, a bit of rain could certainly spice things up, wouldn't it just? Leonardo a little bit far back to think about trying to unsettle the kick Sauber of Fraser, but look at Nordic Ninja almost pushing that Ferrari through the loop and up towards Aintree. A little bit wide and a little bit of a back end loss for Nordic Ninja. That could have been concerning for the Williams driver, who, as I have said a couple of times, looking to pick up a first points paying position of the season. And another wobble. I think those rear tyres potentially starting to struggle for temperatures getting very, very hot indeed in the DRS train in the wake of all of these cars in front of man, like potentially smelling blood, sniffing an opportunity to try and push the Williams further down, although attack might be the best form of defence for Nordic Ninja, who has another wobble on the entry into Copse Corner in his attempts to try and unsettle and potentially pull off the Ferrari of Leonardo in the battle for 4th and 5th. Sergioli, no overtakes on this lap so far for the championship leader, but as things stand, I think would be level with Epic Vale in the championship as we reach the halfway stage. Is this man-like's opportunity? Fraser trying to go for it out in front. Look at this. 3 battling for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. 3 battling for 4th, 5th and 6th. What order are they going to be in? The top 3 remain in the same order. It's Nordic Ninja who comes out on top, getting ahead of Leonardo. Man-like having to settle for remaining in 6th position. The Williams opportunistic stuff. Brilliant driver from Nordic Ninja, who looks incredibly comfortable in that beautiful blue car. And at the start of lap number 12, Nordic Ninja, no points so far this season, is in fourth. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a car backwards, potentially through club corner. Maybe it's someone retiring. I think Jan has made a bit of a blunder, a bit of a mistake there. Has dropped a couple of places out of the DRS train, which is now down to just 14 cars. SRT Christian again thinking about that move down into the loop, couldn't execute it this time. Sergioli was thinking about the same thing, couldn't execute it. Now Fraser's deciding, is this the time to go? Not quite. Life out, potentially burning a little bit of ERS there just to try and maintain second place in this DRS train ahead of CPI Fraser. Almost sounds like a policeman there, CPI Fraser. Cool little tag there. Leonardo and Nordic Ninja scrapping very hard though as we come through Woodcote Corner. Who's going to be bold going through Copse Corner? Will we remain side by side? Somehow they don't make contact, and it's the Williams of Nordic Ninja that holds on. Now it's Manlight trying to push Leonardo back down into sixth position. Can the McLaren be brave? Going through Magnus Beckett and Chapel. Well, it was Leonardo who was very, very brave around the outside, but does go off the circuit there, taking the sausage curbs. This could be an opportunity for Manlight to finally get ahead of this Ferrari. It feels like he's been waiting this entire race to do so. Look at this, darting and weaving. The battle for first, second and third continues on, but Lifebout slotting in behind the Haas of Epic Vale. And Manlight wasn't able to make that move. Leonardo, is he going defensive down into the Vale chicane? A plethora of cars entering it at different places. That's the championship leader getting sideways, and Sergioli trying to get past Coolman and just getting too much over the sausage curbs. Manlight trying to get past Nordic Ninja, who's fallen behind Leonardo and Manlight. This is absolutely crazy. Round the outside we go. Nordic Ninja's off the road, trying to hold on. Got to be careful there. Bit of a sideways moment. Coolman trying to get involved in this battle as well. And it's four cars piling their way down in towards Village and the loop. Nordic Ninja was fourth a few moments ago. Could find himself in 8th place in 30 seconds time or so, but forces Coolman onto the curb. Here comes the championship leader, Sergioli, though, to try and get into 7th place from 16th or 15th on the grid. Chris Rebel with 4 cars nearly abreast again. Up the inside we go into Brookland. Can Nordic Ninja hold it around the outside? Going to hold it up the inside now. Contact between the Haas and the Williams car. Got to be careful. Can't ruin the races of either of them. Sergio goes off the circuit. Bit of bumping and grinding between the pair of them as we continue this battle. Been side by side for about 30 seconds. I'm getting a stitch from talking so much. Nordic Ninja concedes, and the championship leader Sergio is up into 7th place. Wow, that was exciting, was it not? I think that is a perfect time to take a little bit of a sip of water. Yes, it is. The throat is not going to be in a good state, I can assure everybody watching this. Fraser close to the back of Lifebout. Are these three going to stay in the same formation as they did at the start of this straight and the start of this lap? Yes, Lifebout tucking in behind Leonardo. 7/10 off the back of Fraser, but is now holding 4th place. Has managed to get his teammate ASRT Christian up into 5th ahead of the McLaren of Manlight and Nordic Ninja, who was the big loser. I don't really know what happened there. Everybody just sort of charged into the Vale chicane. It was Nordic Ninja who went from 4th down into 8th place in that Williams car. Into the pits goes Jan, into the pits goes Kevins, into the pits goes Finlay, 14th, 15th and 16th place as we've just crossed over half distance on the previous lap. And things are hotting up very, very nicely, very, very nicely indeed. Nose to tail, the leading group still, the top 4 nose to tail going through Village and the loop. Is Fraser thinking about trying to make a move? He hasn't shown too much intent of trying to get out of 3rd position, but now I think he's going for it. Moves over to the left hand side, trying to relegate Lifebout down into 3rd place, and does so very, very effectively, shutting the door on the outside. The RB cannot find a way back through, and Fraser for the first time showing his hand in this race, jumping up into 2nd place, and can now try and apply the blowtorch and challenge the pole sitter Epic Vale. Wow. Took him 14 laps to do it, but Lifebout potentially thinking about moving to Copse Corner. Wasn't close enough, not a braking zone of course, so you don't want to be lunging it up the inside into one of the fastest corners in Formula 1. Leonardo still very much in the ballpark of that leading tree as well. Be thinking about trying to get Ferrari on the podium in Silverstone, something they couldn't do in real life because they had that absolute stinker, didn't they, the Scarlet team, putting Leclerc on the intermediate tyres way too early, and he just plummeted through the field. Sainz didn't have the pace. This is Lifebout trying to say, you can't take 2nd place away from me, but Epic Vale almost blocking the RB in on the left-hand side. Wobble for the pole sitter. Fraser still there on the outside. Diving into the pits goes Epic Vale. Have Fraser and Lifebout been left out to dry and suddenly from battling very, very hard for 2nd and 3rd place? They're probably going to have to work together on this team to try and keep the guys that have come into the pits, the likes of Epic Vale, the likes of Christian, and the likes of Leonardo, not Christian, the other Ferrari, Leonardo, in check. Wow, that changed very, very quickly. All very dramatic there. Into the box they all go, probably for the soft compound tyres, you would imagine. Judging by what everybody else put on, it will be the soft compound tyres. What a good prediction. Oh, Sergioli had to cue behind his teammate. Not good news for the championship leader, and all of the hard work that he did in the first stint, I think, has just been undone there. Look at that. That's definitely 3 places he's lost. Yeah, Nordic Ninja, Chris Rebel and Yasisaki. Diogo Silva on the medium tyres went for an undercut. Has managed to get those places back, but I think he's going to be gobbled up very, very quickly by those drivers on the faster, fresher, soft compound tyres. Out in front, 0.3 of a second the difference between Fraser and Lifeboat. Christian's still there. Coolman has been hurt by this though. Dropping time hand over fist to that leading trio. Going to have to work with the likes of Evan Nye and McKillany, who we jumped to the Sauber just as they run off the circuit going through Copse Corner. Big gap back to Soapbox as well, who has not had an ideal race at all, the Mercedes, after qualifying inside the top 10. So Epic Vale ahead of Leonardo, ahead of Manlike. Then there's a gap back to Nordic Ninja. This is where the race is going to separate, and this is where Lifeboat and Fraser, who have just swapped places, are going to have to be very, very careful indeed. Surely they're going to dive into this. Yes, they do, and we'll get a first-hand look at how powerful this undercut is. Locking up her brakes, all 3 of them. Desperate not to speed into the pits. I think Christian was almost pushing Fraser into the box there. McKillany has to stay out, courtesy of Fraser, and the twin Sauber jumping into the pits, so will be the only driver to continue on in this race. Finlay with a penalty. Let's just have a penalty check for us. Finlay with 6, Kevins with 3, and McKinney, who picked one up on the previous lap, also has 3. Now the battle for the pit stops. All of them coming out on the soft tyres, but where is the pulse here to Epic Vale, who has actually dropped behind Leonardo on this outlap? So out of absolutely nowhere, Leonardo with the fastest final sector, as Finlay I think is going to retire. The Ferrari could be in the lead of this race. Here we go, spat out of the pit lane. They're absolutely nowhere near. There's Manlike, there's Lifeboat, Fraser and ASRT Christian. The undercut incredibly powerful as Christian, well, battling very hard with ASRT Christian. Contact, a couple of other cars getting involved, and that is Nordic Ninja's chances, I think, of picking up a points playing position in this race, ending with that contact with the Scuderia Ferrari car. Huge, huge disappointment. We return to the lead battle. Leonardo from Epic Vale, from Manlike, Lifeboat and Fraser have got a lot of work to do to try and get back into the 1 second window, but they're doing that work very, very nicely. ASRT Christian, 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Not good news at all for the Ferrari car after that contact with Nordic Ninja that punted the Williams down into 13th. Couldn't quite tell who was at fault there. Looked like a bit of a 50-50 accident, if you ask me. Diogo Silva still holding firm nicely on those medium tyres ahead of Chris Rebel, Yasisaki and the 2 Williams cars. Nordic Ninja will be looking to try and make up for that contact, and then it is Sergioli who got up into 7th place before the pit stops, but I think is now only a net 12th. Usually disappointing for the championship leader, and could be losing that championship lead. McKillany is into the pits. Epic Vale trying to make a move to get the lead back. Does get past Leonardo. Manlike can't quite follow suit in that McLaren car. Wow, there's always so much action going on. Very difficult to keep up with all of it. Of course, Lifeboat and Fraser have successfully managed to get themselves into the DRS train, and this is going to be a 5-car scrap for the final 10 laps to decide the winner of this race, barring any safety cars, of course. That's an important asterisk that we have to put out there. Soapbox clearly goal hanging for a safety car on those medium tyres that he started the race on, although he must have pitted onto lap actually. So Soapbox did start the race on those tyres, I'm fairly sure of it. Then it is Epic Vale, Leonardo, Manlike, Lifeboat and Fraser. 5 different drivers in 5 different teams, squabbling for 5 different places inside the top 5. Leonardo was close with the helping hand of DRS, but not close enough to mount an assault on Epic Vale, the pole sitter. Manlike close, continuing that squabble between Ferrari and McLaren. Lifeboat will be looking to try and get back up into 2nd place in this train. Got fresher tyres than the 3 in front. Could that be the difference maker come lap number 26? And the same has to go for the Sauber of Fraser. The green, the Aston Martin, the green machine. What do we call the Sauber? The green machine 2.0, the green machine 2 electric boogaloo. Not really sure about that one. Manlike almost pushing Leonardo through Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell. I think this could be an opportunity where we see position swapping. Manlike, I think, wants to be in the lead of this train. Getting boxed in by the Hasses. Manlike, well, that was Epic Vale saying you are not coming through there, sir. But Leonardo a little bit cautious under braking, going into Stowe Corner. And somehow, after all of that, Epic Vale still leads this group. But I don't think it's over. Manlike having to go defensive because it is Lifeboat swinging it around the outside of the Vale chicane. I think the McLaren's going to run out of road. Could Fraser try and help himself as well? Not through Club Corner. And Manlike, from looking like he was potentially going to be in 2nd place, is now down into 5th. ASRT Christian, with that 10-second penalty, is dropping time, has to be said, to the group in front. 2.8 seconds now, holding up the likes of Chris Rebel and Yasisaki, the 2 Williams. Nordic Ninja could still get a point in this race, but he's going to have to deal with the championship leader. Maybe not the championship leader for much longer, Sergioli, who is trying to recover once again in 12th place now. ahead of Jan and Diogo Silva on those mediums, who is starting to go backwards a little bit. Leonardo close again to the back. Look at how close they are, and it was nearly Lifeboat running into the back of Leonardo in the battle for next, second and third, but on the road it is third and fourth. They're going to be catching Soapbox very, very quickly. I wonder what the Mercedes does. Does Soapbox elect to stay out in this race? Maybe try and cause a little bit of carnage. 1.7 seconds is the margin between first and second. It'll be very interesting. Look at the run though. The life battle Scott coming out of Cop's corner. We aren't going to see a move, are we? Oh, maybe a little dart to the left-hand side, just jinking over to just show that Leonardo that life battle is there, and then running into the rear of him coming through Chapel. Is this the opportunity though? DRS open, looking from the rear of that Ferrari car, darting to the inside goes Lifeboat, late on the brakes goes Lifeboat, very, very close. I think they're just brushing tyres, you can barely fit a playing card between the pair of them. They do make contact on the exit and charging down towards the fair chicane. Leonardo very late on the brakes, but he punts the back of Epic Vale. Epic Vale drops to the back of the train. Leonardo, I think that's going to be a slam dunk if he doesn't give those places back. He did just outbrake himself and run into the rear of the pole sitter, and Epic Vale has got a lot of hard work to do now. Wow, I think it was a game of chicken between Leonardo and Lifeboat. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? Look at that 3 wide, never going to work. Fraser sent it up the inside. Manlight was doing the same. Epic Vale gets a free spot from the kick Sauber. We continue as we were. Somehow all 5 of these cars are still intact and with no damage, but they're racing incredibly hard on lap number 19. Didn't expect that from this group, and fair play to them. Hasn't always been the cleanest though. Late on the brakes again is Manlight. Little bit of a lock up of the front left in his attempts to try and close up to that. Look at the pinch point at the apex of the long right-hander, of Luffield corner. Equidistant from first back to fifth. 1 second, 1.1 seconds probably, covering all 5 of them. Look at them filing through Cop's corner we go. A little bit wide for the McLaren and Manlight, but he gets a good run out of the corner, potentially going to try and challenge Lifeboat. We've seen overtakes through Maggots, Beckus and Chapel. It was Epic Vale also trying to shape up a move. Manlight having to look out of the halo and in those rear view mirrors, but a bit of a slide for Epic Vale could leave him at the mercy of Fraser coming out of Chapel. Well, this didn't go well on the previous lap. I imagine it's not going to go well again. Manlight is going to go to the inside. We are going to be 3 wide going down the hanger straight, and into Cop's corner we go. Not Cop's corner, into Stowe corner we go. It's Manlight who takes the lead for the very first time in the Papaya McLaren car, and Fraser did push Epic Vale down into 5th position. Leonardo down to 3rd, Lifeboat retaining 2nd. This is very, very exciting. Who's your money on everybody? Because, well, this is quite the sprint to the finish, isn't it? 5 drivers battling it out. Very, very hard indeed. The group behind have managed to take 7/10 of a second out of them. Yasser Saki leading that group now ahead of ASRT Christian, Chris Rebel and the 2 Williams cars. Sergioli though trying to get into the points, trying to keep his title fight alive. We join that absolutely perfectly because of the wheel-to-wheel contact between himself and Nordic Ninja. Evan Nye trying to get past Chris Rebel though in the battle for 8th and 9th position in this second almost peloton group of cars. Bit of a jink over, pushing the Williams over to the middle of the circuit, and ASRT Christian is actually in the way, sending it up the inside. We go in towards Brooklands. I mean, all of the drivers seem to have lost their rag. We've seen crazy moves from a lot of them. But in the end, Evan Nye still side by side with Chris Rebel, who's got the power coming through the can't get the words out, too many words, going through the kink of Woodcote, and we're still side by side going round Cop's corner. It's Evan Nye hanging it around the outside, keeping all 4 wheels on the circuit. SRT Christian, a bit of a cork in the bottle, a blocker for all of them, but it is Chris Rebel that comes out on top, returning to the lead battle. Kevin's with a penalty. We've got just 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Lifeboat going to get the lead back. Leonardo, are we going to be 3 wide for the 2nd lap in a row? Yes, we are. Very, very briefly though. Manlight trying to hold it around the outside, but Leonardo I think has got the position, but it's Manlight off the circuit. Brilliant camera angles. We came through Stowe. Not. And it is the McLaren from first down to 3rd, from the front to the middle of this train, with Fraser and Epic Vale still in hot pursuit. Yellow flag safety car would not be good news for this group, and I think it is Coolman who has lost it coming through the Vale chicane. Yes, off in the gravel, Sebastian Vettel style from 2019 after his contact with Max Verstappen. I think that is going to be Coolman's race run. And Leonardo's dropping back. Look at this battle still going on. Fraser desperate to try and get back onto the podium and challenge Manlight, but unable to do so thus far. 1.7 seconds. This peloton group behind are catching as Sergioli is up into 9th place. Nordic Ninja's dropped down into 12th, though it's unfortunate to see. Maybe a bit of damage. Is there damage there? No, but there certainly was contact as Epic Vale files through. It's Manlight and Leonardo getting stuck into each other once again, and it was the Ferrari that came off worse and they've allowed Lifeboat to escape out in front. 1.3 seconds. Epic Vale's going to be cursing what's going on here. He's pushed to the back of the train through no fault of his own, and now he's seen Lifeboat escape from this dueling group. Usually hugely disappointing. They're fighting a little bit too hard. Look at them nose to tail, almost pushing each other coming out of Copse corner through Maggots and Beckers and Chapel. There was certainly contact between the two Ferrari engine counterparts of the Sauber of Fraser and the Haas of Epic Vale. Leonardo that was unexpected. Catching back up. Manlight's going to be swallowed up, you would imagine here. 1 and 2 and 3 places lost down the Hanger Straight. And into Stowe Corner, the McLaren from second down into fifth. Epic Vale was off the circuit though, coming out of Stowe Corner, maybe in his attempts to try and get second place from Fraser. But Lifeboat's in the clear, 1.6 seconds. This could be 3 wins in 4 races for the RB car. I'm going to have to take a drink of water because otherwise my throat might actually explode live on camera, which wouldn't be ideal. Oh, but I've got to come back and nearly spat the water everywhere there because Epic Vale was trying to send it around the outside of Village. Will he do the same into the loop? No, he will not. The Haas doesn't quite have the overspeed. Still following very closely behind is the Ferrari of Leonardo and the McLaren of Manlike, who I don't think are going to be the best of friends come the end of this 26-lap race. Yasuzaki getting ever closer to this group of cars, battling from second now into 5th position. But SRT Christian into the back of the Alpine, got his braking all wrong. Thankfully, both of them keeping it on the straight, and now almost again going through Luffield corner this time. Once through Brooklands, nearly doing it again through Luffield, and Leonardo's chances of finishing on the podium, I think, have just evaporated with that 3-second penalty. Wow, this is a tiring job, isn't it? Crazy stuff going on. Nearly 2 seconds now that Lifeboat has got, and I think Epic Vale and Fraser are going to be disappointed with some of the racing that the guys in this group have pulled off, because Leonardo and Manlike have been too busy knocking 10 bells out of each other. Bit of a grudge match, and it could be Epic Vale's turn to get swallowed up, squeezing over to the right hand side. Leonardo still on the charge, still on the move, and up into second place now. Fraser and Epic Vale continue their duel coming out of Stowe Corner, and is third for the Sauber, fourth for the Haas, and Manlike holding on to 5th place behind them. Like I said, almost like they've completely lost their rags. They've certainly been unchained, as it says on the back of the green Sauber car, and Manlike very close to the back of the Haas. Toyota Gazoo Racing, of course, coming in very, very recently. Will we see a Toyota Works team back in F1? I don't know. Anyway, returning to the action, Fraser not having a look up the inside of Village to try and get second place away from Leonardo. I think these guys have got to accept that the win is gone. Lifeboat 2.3 seconds further up the road. They've got to make sure they don't get caught by the peloton behind, which goes from 6th all the way down to 15th place with Diogo Silva on those medium tyres. Darting over, going defensive was Fraser as he got past Leonardo. Manlike pulling the move on Epic Vale. This could be for the final spot on the podium. Don't you forget Manlike trying to get around the outside of the Haas, going through Luffield corner. The pole sitter, if he doesn't finish on the podium, he's going to be cursing what happened on lap number 20 or maybe 19, I believe it was, down into the Vale chicane. Back to 5th place goes Epic Vale, and almost gets a swap on as well for good measure, coming through Copse corner. Can't let Fraser escape. That is crucial for Manlike and Epic Vale. You feel like it's now or never to try and get past Leonardo and keep that Sauber in check. They don't want to see what happened to Lifeboat and see the RB run away into the distance off into the sunset, but with the helping hand of DRS, Leonardo is going to make light work of the Sauber Fraser. Manlike is not close enough in the Papaya McLaren car though to mount an assault down into Stowe Corner. SRT Christian has just dipped within the 1 second window, so these four who have been busy battling amongst themselves have now got something else to deal with as well. They've got a group of, what is that, 5 or maybe even 6 cars behind them. Kevin Diogo Silva has dropped off the back as they battle over 14th and 15th. 3 laps to go, 2.1 seconds the advantage that Lifeboat has got. Leonardo have what nationality? Maverick? I'm not quite sure. I believe he might be Italian though. Don't quote me on that. I can actually check, can't I, in the race director. There we go. Leonardo for Ferrari, driving for the Italian team. He is an Italian, or at least it says he is in game. Is this an opportunity for Fraser? An opportunity for Manlike. Fraser is pulling over to the left-hand side. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? Fraser very late on the brakes, down into Brooklands corner, but manages to slam the anchors on effectively enough and holds the car in second position. Leonardo caught out a little bit by that, maybe having his pocket pinched by the Kick Sauber car, and now going to have to deal with the McLaren and Manlike, who's going to be saying, come on, get on with it, as we go through Woodcote and up towards Copse corner. But I don't think the McLaren is going to be making an audacious move up the inside or the outside there, but might think about it through Maggots, Beckers and Chapel. Look at how close he is to Papaya McLaren, looking menacing behind the Scarlet Ferrari car, following his footsteps, shadowing every move from Leonardo, who's a little bit wide of the apex through the first part of Maggots and Beckett's. And onto the hanger straight, dumping the battery as man like as this is opportunity to potentially try and pick up a second place in this race. Fraser moves to the middle of the road. It's not good for Leonardo. Man like given the opportunity to try and hang it all the way around the outside. Can he keep it within the track limits? That was certainly a barge there though from Leonardo, if I'm not mistaken. And man like does have to hold on to fourth position. Epic Vale was not able to try and capitalise on that, nipping at the heels of the pair of them, but unable to get back on to the podium. Leonardo, I think that was a little bit of a shoulder barge on the exit of Stowe Corner to the McLaren of Manat, saying, hey, you are not having this position. I know that I've got it on the road, and I know that I've got a penalty, but I'm still going to fight tooth and nail to hold on to the third place. Manat still trying to get through, couldn't do it going through Village, trying to hang it around the outside of the loop, but unsuccessful again in his attempts. Look at this, the Great Wall of Leonardo, currently holding third position now, but I think the wall is going to be surmounted. Here we go with the DRS, the slipstream, probably a little bit of battery. Leonardo, can he try and mount an assault on Fraser? Manat couldn't get that McLaren up the inside of the Ferrari and has to stay in fourth once again. And Epic Vale continuing to spectate, and look at who's popped up in sixth position, everybody. I had absolutely no idea, but Sergioli could finish 5th in this race after being 14th about 5 or 6 laps ago. That is outstanding from the championship leader, who will keep hold of his championship lead if it stays like this, and it will still be a sizable lead at that as well. Lifebound is comfortable out in front with a lap and a half to go. It is this four that have continued to scratch so hard. Fraser was wide going through Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell. Is that the opportunity that Leonardo needs? The Sauber is definitely going to get gobbled up here with the helping out of DRS. Could be 5th by the time we get to the braking zone of Stowe Corner. Here we go, trying to go through the middle potentially is Manlock. No, tucking in behind the Ferrari. Epic Vale not seemingly bothered actually to try and challenge the trio, battling away very hard in front. Manlock and Fraser are effectively dueling over second place in this race. Down into the Vale chicane we go. Who's going to be braver? Got to avoid the sausage curbs. Is there going to be space left? No. Off the circuit goes the McLaren. Through goes Epic Vale. Does he? No, not quite. And it's Manlock again on the exit of Club Corner as we start the final lap. That's going to try and get fourth place back, but he can't quite do it. Epic Vale was opportunistic. It was a little bit of a tete-a-tete between Fraser and Manlock, and the McLaren coming off second best. Look at this, Sergioli suddenly arriving on the scene, thinking about a move up the inside the two Hasses, putting a pincer movement on the McLaren. Epic Vale holding on to fourth position. Where is Sergioli in all of this? Manlock, who was thinking he could potentially finish in second place, might not even finish in the top 5 at this rate if Sergioli and potentially somebody else can bump him down a couple of places. Epic Vale making his move now though. Sir Fraser up the inside of Leonardo. All action stuff. You cannot take your eyes off Epic Vale, dropping back in behind Fraser. I'm going to have to take a pause. Here we go into Cop's Corner. Fraser thinking about a move up the inside. Was also defending from Epic Vale. We haven't got long left to go. The gap out in front is 3.2 seconds. Leonardo has a 3-second penalty. So does the other Ferrari of ASRT Christian. It's Fraser, Epic Vale, Manlock and Sergioli scrapping for the 2 remaining spots on the podium. Leonardo's going to get gobbled up because he doesn't have any DRS. Fraser's going to file through first. But what on earth is going to happen behind? Here comes the Haas of Epic Vale trying to recover second place. Darting to the inside goes Manlock, and there's contact between himself and Leonardo, and I think that could cost him a podium place. Through goes Sergioli, who's up into 4th position. How are we seeing this? Manlock still sinking his teeth into Leonardo. They cannot get enough of each other through the final couple of corners. Lifebound wins the race. It's Fraser from Epic Vale from Sergioli, and then an absolute cluster over the line. The Aston Martin of Jan runs off the circuit. It was Manlock who comes home in 5th place ahead of Yasis Evanai, Jan Chris Rebel and Leonardo falling all the way down into 10th place. Just a solitary point for the Ferrari. I am absolutely dying here. The voice is completely gone. Nordic Ninja didn't quite score those first points of the season, finishing just 5 milliseconds behind McKillany. Diogo Silva ahead of ASRT Christian, who had that big penalty. Soapbox Kevins, who is retiring in the pits. And then Zane, who will be 16th and last. But it is Lifebout. Went back-to-back in Canada and Qatar, and now picks up a 3rd win in 4 races here in Silverstone. But I think the stewards are going to have quite a lot to get through. Wouldn't you agree, everybody that's still here? Thank you if you have stuck around. Very, very appreciative. The solo job has been a task, an enjoyable task, but a task nonetheless. Before we do finish off, shout out to main sponsors GT Omega of Premier Sim Gaming League. If you want to get your hands on the best sim racing equipment in the business. Save the voice, says Sotar. Thank you very much, sir. If you want to get your hands on the best sim racing equipment in the business, head over there and use the code PSGL at checkout. That will give you 5% off your services. Final roundup. The top three stayed the same as they did in qualifying, but not in the same order. The pole sitter was bumped down into third with Lifebout winning from Fraser. Sergioli, what a drive from 15th to 4th. Yasir Saki from 16th to 6th. Man Knight dropping one place from 4th down into 5th. Evan Nye, Jan from last on the grid finishing 8th. Chris Rebel and then Leonardo rounding out our points paying positions, although I think the stewards will have quite a lot to say, and I imagine this top 10 will not be the top 10 that we finish with. McKinney, Nordic Ninja, Diogo Silva, Christian Soapbox Zane, Kevin's our other classified finishers. Coolman Finlay and Franek Gizorni did not make it to the end. Hi. Hopefully you enjoyed that, everybody. Some good racing at times, some not so good racing at other times. But I think one thing is for certain, PSGL is still very much box office when we watch this action going on. As we load back in to finish things off. And it was quite the race, wasn't it? All action stuff, similar to what we saw last season at Silverstone, actually. It was the curtain raiser, the season opener, and we saw battles very, very similar. But thank you all for watching. I've been Tom, or T-Dub. I appreciate your time, as always, for coming to join us on this Monday evening. And until next week, where the circus will be heading to. I'm going to get this live for you now. From Silverstone, we travel... Where is the calendar? There is the calendar. We travel to the Netherlands. We go to Zandvoort, the home of Max Verstappen, for round number 8. Then round number 9 is Saudi. That will be the final race of 2024 before coming back on January the 9th for Japan. Another break week, and then round number 11 and 12 to finish us off in Las Vegas and Bahrain. So that is a lot of stuff for you all to look forward to. Great for Sergioli. Sergioli was exceptional, was he not, Avatar? And thank you, everybody who has got involved in the chat as well. Until next time, I've been Tom, or T-Dub. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.